right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our webinar. I'm Jen Woodside from UNH Alumni Relations. We really hope that everyone is well. Today, we are joined by Ariella Coombs, who is a 2012 UNH grad. She is the Director of Career Support at WorkADaily, which is an online career growth club. Ariella helps people with their career planning and job search strategy, and her advice has been featured in many online publications, including Teen Vogue, Business Insider, Forbes, and more. She is also an awesome active UNH volunteer and is the past president of the Seacoast, New Hampshire Alumni Network. If you have any questions for Ariella, please type them into the question and answer box. You'll find that at the bottom of your screen. She'll see them there and we will see them as well, and we will look to probably answer questions at the end of the presentation, so feel free to submit them when you want and we will definitely get to them. And with that, I will turn it over to Ariella. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, Jen, and thanks for having me here today. I'm really excited to go over today's topic, which is job searching during a crisis. Obviously, that's pretty relevant these days with everything going on in the world, and it isn't a challenging time to find a job right now with mass layoffs, companies closing, hiring freezes, that kind of thing. It's happening everywhere, and it's making it very hard for job seekers to go out there and not only feel motivated to look for work, but actually just get through to employers. So today I just wanted to kind of break down some things you should be thinking about and doing during this time so you can set yourself up for success later when it comes to companies hiring again. So excited to dive in here. So during times of crisis, as you know, it's pretty obvious that there are going to be fewer opportunities, which means more competition for those opportunities. So you need to be able to disrupt in order to stand out. So you need to start laying some groundwork here while we're all kind of in this weird limbo mode to start setting yourself up for success later once companies are more comfortable, they're hiring again, and things are kind of getting back to normal. And one thing that you should keep in mind during this time is that networks are going to be tighter than ever. Okay, people are going to really want to think about who they're hiring and make sure that they're hiring people that they trust and that get to know, like their culture. They want to find culture fits within the company and find the right people. So networking is going to be a key piece during this time, and this is a great opportunity for you to start laying that groundwork now. Even if you hate networking, it's something that you're going to have to do, and thankfully there are plenty of ways to do it. I wanted to kind of start though with the traditional job search strategy, which is, applying online strictly and, using a generic resume and generic cover letter to apply for all kinds of jobs, what we call spraying and praying at WorkADaily, which is just applying to as many jobs as possible, whether you're a fit or not, and not customizing any of your materials or not customizing your approach. And I wanted to kind of bring this up because this is not going to work moving forward. It hasn't really been working, and it's not really effective now, but even more so with everything going on. You have to find a way to circumvent this process because it's not going to help you stand out with all the competition that's going to be happening, as a result of everything here. So there's technology out there. It's called ATS. It's an applicant tracking system, and we actually call it an applicant tossing system at WorkADaily because it's designed to filter out candidates who aren't a good fit for opportunities. And this technology was built with, a good reason in mind to help recruiters who are getting flooded with candidates for opportunities so they can really streamline their process and find the best, most qualified candidates. However, the technology is very flawed in the fact that it's not designed to find the best fit. It's only designed to find certain keywords and skills and information on a resume and in a cover letter and on an application. So it filters out a lot of great candidates. So while it was designed with a good thing in mind, it doesn't actually work. And so you need to find a way to get past this kind of technology that online job boards, customized career sites and applications typically use to filter out candidates who aren't a fit. Because as we mentioned, there's going to be a lot more candidates for these opportunities. So you need to find ways to disrupt and stand out. And right now, what you really have to do and think about is accepting this new reality, adapting to these changes and adapting to, where we're at in the world, and with technology, and identifying opportunities that are going to allow you to, set yourself up for success later. So this is obviously easier said than done, but the sooner that you do this, the more successful you're going to be down the road. Okay. So today I just wanted to go over 5 really simple basic tips for job searching during times of crisis. So obviously, during challenging times, you need to adjust, as we just mentioned. You need to develop a better strategy that's going to allow you to spend time in the high payoff areas so you can ultimately get new opportunities. So building a blueprint for yourself and figuring out a strategy to help you figure out what areas you should be spending time on, what kinds of activities or tactics you should be doing during this time to set yourself up for success is going to allow you to control this process, be intentional with your efforts, and stop wasting time doing outdated tactics and strategies that don't work anymore, especially right now. So the first thing that you should be doing right now is rethinking how and where you add value as an employee. You have to get super clear on how you add value at an organization in order to market yourself as effectively as possible to employers. If you don't know where you add value, or it's kind of unclear, or you feel like you're a jack of all trades, then it's going to be harder for an employer to see where you're going to fit in their organization, especially if you're applying for an opportunity that has a lot of competition. Right? A lot of candidates who are applying for that. So you need to get really clear on what's that value add that you offer. And you might need to rethink that given, the circumstances. So how can you adjust? So some tips for this. The first thing that you need to do is inventory your skill sets, specifically your transferable skills. So these are skill sets like project management, customer service, administrative support. These are skill sets that can be quantified, but they can also transfer to different jobs in different industries, right? So that way you can identify exactly what hard skill sets you have to offer to employers for specific opportunities. Then you want to repackage your brand and your skills and find a new way to add value in this climate, right? So thinking about again, that value add that you offer and those skills that back up that value add. And then thinking about what kinds of opportunities can you set yourself up for that allow you to leverage this, okay? So that's going to be really key. Then you want to think about what businesses right now are in need of extra help and how you can leverage those skill sets and that expertise that you have to offer to give them a hand. Okay, so thinking about what kinds of companies are thriving right now. With any challenge, there's opportunity, and with any shift, while some, industries, companies, areas suffer, others thrive. So let's give an example here with Zoom, what we're using right now. Zoom is thriving right now as a result of all this. And there are companies out there that are doing very well. Think about Amazon, right? We're all ordering, we're all at home, we're all sitting home and ordering from Amazon because it's convenient and it goes right to our door. So there are organizations out there that are in need of extra help because they're seeing a lot higher demand. So you need to be able to not only accept this new reality, adapt to these changes, and identify these opportunities that will serve you, even if it's only temporary at this point. So thinking about how you can repackage how you add value and what kinds of opportunities are, out there right now for you. The second thing that you're going to want to do is craft a strong brand around that service that you provide. So at WorkADaily, we call all professionals, all employees, businesses of one. So as an employee, you are a business of one. Your customer is your employer. And your job is to provide a service to that employer, right? That's what you get paid for. And in order to market that business of one effectively, you need to be able to distill down how you add value. And this is what we call, creating a personal branding statement. And essentially what you're going to want to do is get really clear on that service that you provide as an employee. So what is that service? Are you a customer service specialist? Are you a digital marketing strategist? Are you a project manager? Are you an event planner? What is that service that you provide as an employee? Then you want to go back, like we were talking about, and identify the skills that allow you to actually provide that service. Okay, so going back to the customer service example, administrative support, troubleshooting, client relations, those are some, key transferable skill sets that support that service that you would provide as a customer support specialist. Then you want to identify what you're looking for now. What's the next step for you? So that way you have a very clear intention and you can communicate that to, people in your network, to employers, so they know what kinds of opportunities you're looking for and that will fit you. Okay, and then you want to craft that personal branding statement, which is essentially a 2 to 3 sentence statement that articulates what you do, aka that service you provide, how you do it, what kinds of skills you leverage during this, and what you're looking for next. What's that next step for you? Are you looking for a small company in the area? Are you looking to develop new skills? Are you looking to create some kind of impact? What is that next step that you're looking to do at this point? Having that clear direction is going to allow you to brand yourself more effectively to your network so they can identify opportunities that will help you, because it's really, pointed to what you're looking for next. Okay, and they're also going to remember what you do more effectively, right? If you distill down your brand to 2 to 3 sentences, it's going to be a lot easier for someone to remember, oh, this is what so-and-so does, and this is how they do it. And, actually they're looking for opportunities in this area. Maybe I can pass that along. So this is really key. And this is one of the biggest things that we teach at WorkADaily because it's so effective and you use it in so many areas. You'll use this branding statement on your LinkedIn profile. You'll use it when you're answering the tell me about yourself question during interviews. And you'll also use it when you're introducing yourself to people at networking events or, over email or whatever it is, because it's so clear. So here's an example of this. So as a digital marketing strategist, I help companies sell products to their ideal customers by building targeted online marketing strategies like retargeting, social media advertising, and email marketing. In the future, I'd like to bring my skills and expertise to an organization that primarily focuses on the clothing industry, since I'm also passionate about fashion and style. So this is just an example of what this looks like and how you can incorporate that service you provide, how you offer that service, and what's that next step for you, okay? The third thing that you're going to want to do is build that blueprint for yourself. So create a list of target companies that you ultimately want to work for. So make your life easier here. It's so overwhelming right now with everything going on, and there's so many different activities you can do in your job search right now, but you want to focus on the high payoff activities. And this is one of them. So giving yourself a kind of target list of companies that you ultimately want to work for is going to essentially give you that blueprint of areas to target your efforts. So you can be really intentional with the time that you're spending on your job search. And when you're thinking long-term, after, things start getting back to normal, if you can lay some groundwork at these organizations, then you're going to help set yourself up for success once they're starting to hire again, because if you have a network there, they're going to want to, have a conversation with you if you're a good fit for an opportunity. So setting yourself up for the long term here and creating this list of companies that you want to target and network into is going to be really key. So some tips for finding organizations if you're having trouble coming up with a list is they're very simple, honestly. Like, look at your target location, drive around, because honestly, I don't know about you guys, but I'll drive around and I'll notice a new building, a new office, a new whatever every single time I drive the same route every single day. So just open your eyes and see what kinds of organizations are out there. You can also leverage the location filtering on the online job boards like Indeed, and even use Glassdoor. Glassdoor is one of my favorite resources for this kind of thing. You can also visit your local Chamber of Commerce, the website directory, to see what kinds of companies are around here. Think about brands and organizations that you're already loyal to, maybe you're a customer of or you use their services. And, thinking about industry related sites that, kind of list these organizations, or even if they're advertising or sponsoring any ads on these websites, these are great ways to kind of identify and explore companies that you could potentially look for. Then once you create this list, you're going to want to develop what we call a connection story. So if you can share a strong connection to those target organizations, it's going to really help you stand out during the hiring process, especially if you lack experience, if you just graduated. It's going to be really important to do this because you need to be able to make up for that lack of experience with enthusiasm and interest, right? Genuine interest. So show them why you'd feel proud to work for this organization, why you want to work there, what do you respect, appreciate, or admire about this organization, and why you want to ultimately serve them as a business of one, right? Why do you want to be an employee there? And thinking about things like the mission, why they exist, if you really feel strongly about their product or service, things like that can help you create this connection story, because this is going to ultimately help you circumvent that online application process and connect with them, because people love hearing other people talking about them, right? And this doesn't just stop at people, right? Employers, hiring teams love reading great cover letters that have these connection stories. I really want to work for this company because of this. You guys are amazing. You guys are incredible. Who doesn't like hearing that? That's going to help you stand out and rise above the other candidates, especially if you lack experience and you need to kind of find a new way to stand out and connect with this organization. So you want to ask yourself, do you share the same values or beliefs as this company? Did something happen to you that made you respect, appreciate, or admire what this company does? And are you a loyal company or a loyal customer of this company? If so, why? What about this company makes you want to continually purchase products or services? And did you have an amazing experience with this company that really stuck out to you? What is that connection that you have? Because this can really help you articulate a powerful story that's going to resonate with the reader of your cover letter, someone who's opening a message from you on LinkedIn, things like that. It's going to help people understand that enthusiasm and that genuine interest that you have in the opportunity. It's going to show them that you're not only interested in finding a job there, but you're interested in more than just a paycheck. You're interested in an opportunity to serve a company that you believe in using your skills and expertise. Okay, so this is going to come into play in your cover letter. As I mentioned, we teach something called the disruptive cover letter format, where we share a story instead of reiterating your resume. This is coming into play here. If you invite someone to connect on LinkedIn who worked at one of these companies, you would kind of open with this. I really respect your company because of these reasons, and I'd love to connect with you to learn more about it. This is going to help you ultimately stand out among the other competition. And that leads us right into focusing on strategic networking. So this is right now, during everything that's going on, this is really the perfect time for you to focus on your networking efforts. Obviously, there aren't a ton of in-person events right now, which is totally okay. Thank you, LinkedIn. Thank you, social media. Thank you, Zoom. This is a really great time for you to start laying that groundwork and building those connections within these target organizations, because once things are back to normal, as I said earlier, and jobs are being posted and companies are hiring again, it's going to be too late for you to start building this groundwork, because networking takes time. You have to establish a relationship. They have to, start to trust you. They have to realize that you're going to be a value add to their network and you're not just going to use them to find opportunities. So if you are going to do this, you have to start right now. So that way you're going to have a strong, healthy network within these organizations to ultimately find opportunities there. So here are some tips for networking, especially right now. So see if anybody works at your target organizations, and definitely leverage the UNH Alumni Network for this. You can look at on LinkedIn, the Wildcat Connections. This is a great opportunity for you to just kind of research and see who's out there, who works at these organizations. Reconnect with people you already know. So go through your current LinkedIn contacts, your LinkedIn connections, and just see who's actually in your network. We tend to connect with people on LinkedIn and then let them sit and collect dust in their connections kind of pile on LinkedIn and forget who's actually in there. So take a minute to go through and say, who is actually in my network right now? Where do they work? Do they work at my target companies? This is also another great way to discover companies that are in your area, okay? Seeing where other people in your network work. So find people at those companies and, either reconnect with them via message on LinkedIn or email, or invite them to connect on LinkedIn, like I said, by saying, hey, I noticed that you work for this company. I really appreciate this company for these reasons, and I'd love to connect and learn more. can we connect? And from there, you're going to start that conversation by just expressing that interest. You're not going to ask for anything yet. You're going to start by developing a relationship. So articulating who you are, why you're interested in this organization, why you want to learn more, and then ending on a question to continue that conversation, encourage a response. So things like, how did you come to work here? Or what do you love most about serving this organization? Or what do you love most about your job or your team? So very simple, easy to answer questions within a minute or less. That's going to help you start developing relationships, having conversations, and networking within these organizations. Okay. And then once you have a good conversation going and opportunities start arising, you can, ask for, an introduction to someone else in the organization, insights in terms of hiring, what are they looking for specifically, but you don't want to ask for anything right off the bat, especially right now. All right, so 6 is update your tools. So this is just essentially updating your resume, cover letter, LinkedIn profile, which is going to be really key. So customizing your resume and cover letter for every opportunity is going to be essential. You want to make sure that you're using relevant skills and keywords on your resume for the reasons that we talked about earlier, because they're looking for specific keywords, skill sets, and any other requirements that they need in order to check off the boxes to move you forward in the process. And making sure that you share that story in your cover letter that connects you with the organization and illustrates that specialty that you offer, that service that you provide. It's going to help you stand out and really connect with those employers. But honestly, don't wait to search, because I know it seems discouraging right now where nobody's hiring and things are challenging, but it's really important for you to start laying that groundwork now, because it's going to make it easier for you later to stand out among all the competition, among all the other candidates. I promise you that if you focus on these high payoff activities, it's going to serve you later. And if you want some more information, we have some amazing online courses at our website, workadaily.com. We have a lot of free resources as well on our YouTube channel. But at WorkADaily, we offer coaching. It's all online. We have courses. We have a great private community that helps you develop your networking skills. And it's really a great spot to be right now, because it's all online. It's no contact, but you're still learning and leveraging these tools. So definitely check it out. And with that, what questions do we have?
We have them coming in. The first one is, I apply for jobs and I either get a return reply or I am overqualified for the job. Or I take the time to apply for a job and I get the reply, job was already filled. Do you think there's any ways to not waste my time to be applying for jobs, not knowing what is current?
So that's a great question. So if you're getting the overqualified response a lot, that says to me that maybe your brand needs to be a little bit more updated, or you're, somehow putting out this vibe where they're assuming that you're going to want to ask for more money up front, more than they can actually, provide for this opportunity. And that actually, it's amazing how much branding impacts that, because if you have, certain things on your resume, it can signal that you're going to want to have they're going to assume that you want more money than they can afford. So that ultimately puts the overqualified brand on there. But also just making sure that you're focusing on opportunities that are 90 to 100% match for your skills and your expertise. But you mentioned something about, jobs already being filled when you reach out. That's why networking is so important, because that's the hidden job market right there. That job was filled because someone knew someone and there was already, in the works. If you had that network before, if you knew people in there before, and this was truly a good opportunity for you and they wanted you to work here, then you would have gotten that opportunity. So that's why it's so important to know people within the organization and have a very clear sense of your value add of that service that you provide. So that way, when opportunities come up, before they're even posted, they're reaching out to you for these opportunities. Ooh. All right. Not sure. I think we lost Jen. Let me go back to the Q&A. Hold on. Okay. I'm opening up the Q&A here. Okay, here's a great question. After reconnecting with people in your network and building that relationship, I found that it can get awkward when you eventually ask them to introduce you and put a good word in for you for a new job. Do you have any tips on making that more natural when asking them? Yes. So I actually have a whole list of things that you can ask for instead of the job. So it's a little less awkward, but you're still signaling that you are looking for an opportunity here and you want to find a way to make that happen. So, if you're asking for an introduction, for example, you can say, hey, I'd love to learn a little bit more about the opportunities in this department. Do you know anybody there that I can connect with, that I can, just learn a little bit more about what kinds of things that they're doing, what kinds of people they're looking for opportunities, and just make it very simple and casual, because then you're not putting them on the spot. I think sometimes that happens when you ask for things like, can you put a good word in for me? Can you pass along my resume? Can you introduce me to this specific person? Sometimes they feel like they're on the spot, and it can be awkward. So being a little bit more gentle with your ask, it can be much more effective. But also asking for things like, hey, I'm looking for these types of opportunities. Do you know anybody in your network? Or do you have any ideas of companies that are looking for these types of skills? Another thing that I love is asking for advice instead of a job. So saying, I'm looking for, opportunities in this area, or developing skills in this area, because this is ultimately what I want to do. So since you're in this field, since you work in this area, do you have any advice on what I should be doing next? And more times than not, they're willing to give you, a tip, but also, potentially just introduce the idea of introducing you to someone on their own, which is great. If you can have them bring it up on their own, then that's even better. One thing that I like to do, because I actually was a journalism major at UNH, is I like to use writing as a way to kind of get attention with my network and say, hey, I'm writing an article. You're an expert here. Can I get your thoughts on this? And what kinds of opportunities do you see for this type of role? How's your company planning on doing this? Asking questions and featuring them, so that way they feel, hey, I'm going to be featured in this post, and this person is asking me for advice in my opinion, and I'm going to share it. So that's another way to kind of ask for help without necessarily asking for a job and putting someone on the spot, but it can help you, build that kind of relationship that they'll ultimately want to come to you with opportunities. So I know it's hard because you don't want to put anyone on the spot, but these are some other alternatives. And we have a whole course inside WorkADaily called Mastering Networking that's very in-depth in terms of what kinds of strategies you can do and leverage if you have a hard time kind of asking for these things, because it can be awkward. All right. Let's see, I think we have time for one more question. All right. Question, what if you don't exactly know where your brand is because people have not had a lot of, or because you have not had a lot of experience? For example, I would like to work in marketing and advertising, either through social media or PR. I have some experience in social media when I was working in retail, however, not much. So that's totally fine. Obviously, you're going to have to take some stepping stone opportunities, at some points in order to get where you need to go. So one thing that you're going to want to do is identify what skills you have, inventory your toolbox, understand what kinds of hard skills you have to offer with your experience now, with your current resume, and then go and look at your target opportunity. Go through the job description of an ideal job that you want. Take an inventory of what skill sets they need and what expertise they need for this opportunity, and say, what am I missing here? What kinds of skills do I need to develop? And then what you're going to want to do is identify a stepping stone opportunity that's going to allow you to gain those skill sets and that expertise, so you can ultimately go into that next opportunity. In terms of branding, what you're going to want to say is, this is what I want to do. These are the skill sets I'm going to be building, and these are the ones I'm focusing on right now. And I'm looking for organizations and opportunities in this area once I do build this skill set. Okay, so hopefully that helps in terms of kind of connecting the dots for you to kind of start building that brand and developing those skill sets and developing the right skill sets. Alrighty, so I think that's all the time we have. Let's see.
Yep, sorry about that. That's the first time that's happened to me, that
No
my
worries,
internet just kicks me right out. So thanks for taking over. I think that's all we have for questions and answer. I did want to let people know that we will have this in the webinar library, and we will email everybody that information along with some other additional websites and links that you can go to help with career searching right now. We have some more webinars coming up as well, so we'll send you some details about that if you want to log in. So thank you so much, Ariella.
Yeah, thank you. This is great.
And have a great day, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.